Hey guys, it's your girl. It's me. Um, I got this really cool question I wanted to talk about today. Today is April 1st, 2018, and it is April Fool's Day. And no, I'm not going to prank you because I hate pranks. Um, April Fool's Day, Easter Sunday, and rent is due. As everybody keeps on reminding me, I'm like, shit, yeah, it is. All right, so it's one of the first times in my lifetime I can remember all those things happening on the same day. So it is what it is. So for today's edition of Ask an Aquarius, somebody said to me, another Aquarius said in the comments, she was referencing one of my videos where I talked about settling. And I talked about settling in every relationship that I ever got into. And she said that she had, as an Aquarius, had a similar, experience. And it was like, why does that happen to us? Why do we do that? And I thought about it long and hard because I've been thinking about it for like 35 years. So I thought about it again. And I said to myself, I think I know why this happens. I'm going to tell you what it is. The Aquarius settles because we don't find what we want quickly enough. That's what it is. It's impatience. And I'm going to tell you how I came up with this, right? Okay, so in my lifetime, one of the things I've noticed is that I've always been, Aquarius are always okay with the fact that we may have to be alone. According to astrology, Aquarius get along well in relationships and without relationships. So basically, we can be single perpetually or we can be married, you know, serial or perpetually or whatever have you. So an Aquarius can do well by themselves and without. So there is a part of us that's always aware of that. There is a part of us that's always aware that if at any given time a person messes up, we can detach and we can go on about our business. Now, yes, there are some cases that are going to be a little harder than others, certain loves that we may feel a little deeper than others. But for the most part, an Aquarius can always pack up and move on. I always say that I'm like that song by White Snake. It's called "Here We Go, Here I Go Again." And I always say that's me, cause like here I go, my thumb is out and I'm down the road. Hey, I am the drifter. As soon as something goes wrong, I will drift off. And I realize that, and there's a part of us that's always aware of our detach mechanism. So it's like if we meet a person and every person that I've ever met I knew was not right for me. I've never met a person and said, "Oh, that's the one." I always meet people and think they would be perfect if. They would be perfect for me if, because nobody's perfect. They'd be great for me if. They'd be perfect for me if. That's always it. And there's always something pretty major. Like they would be perfect for me if they were living their truth. They would be perfect for me if they would do some healing work. They'll be perfect for me if. And it's always this if. And the if is always big. And the if is always something that they never do. So what happens is that because I already know I have this detach mechanism, I think I go into these situations knowing that there's a possibility that they might be temporary. If an Aquarius says, let's wait and see, or we'll see what happens, that is a temporary situation. And what we're saying is that we're willing to temporarily deal with the situation because we're lonely or bored or both until we no longer want to deal with it anymore. And if it changes, then that's wonderful. We'll stick around. And if it doesn't change, then we'll move on. And typically it doesn't change. And then we just move on. So as I was giving thought to this, I was like, yeah, that's what's leading us down the path of destruction. Because we are like, okay, well, I'll do this for a little while. But instead of doing that, this is what we should do. I figured this out. Instead of us saying, okay, I'll deal with this temporary situation for a little while because I'm lonely, I'm bored, I'm this, I'm that. Instead, I'm going to wait until I find somebody that I feel vibrates right with me. I'm going to wait, no matter how long that is, until I meet somebody that doesn't have major things wrong that I know I'm not going to be able to deal with. Instead of being impatient, instead of saying, okay, I'll deal with Mrs. Right now, wait for Mrs. Right her or Mrs. Right, as I would call it. Wait. And that's what I've been doing. I'm testing this theory, guys. I am testing this Aquarius theory because what I think it is that I think Aquarius who wait for someone who is what they want are the Aquarius that ends up happily married or in long-term life partner relationships. And I think those of us who are always like, right now, are the ones who end up in and out of relationships or perpetually single. So that's my hypothesis, and I'm actively in my own life checking it out. I've been single for 2 years. The last person I dated was it wasn't a major catastrophe because it really didn't even last that long. It was just an annoyance. It was an annoyance. It was a cancer, and it wasn't a good idea. It was an annoyance, and it wasn't like a horrible relationship. It just wasn't. It wasn't good. It was like not a good vibration, not a good match. It just wasn't good. So after that happened, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay single because I'm fine by myself and I don't have to be with somebody. That's the Aquarius thing. We don't have to be with somebody. So I'm going to stay by myself and I'm going to chill. And if I meet somebody that I really like, then I'm going to go for it. Now, the part about this that's probably going to be scary to most Aquarius is that there's a possibility that it may never happen. There is that possibility. Now, I doubt it. I really do, but it is a possibility and you have to accept that. When if you say I am going to wait until someone comes along that I do not have to settle for, there is a possibility that you may never come across that person. It is, I have to keep it real with you. When we're dealing with averages here, there is that possibility. But I just don't believe it. I don't believe that if you're vibrating correctly and you're in a good space in your heart and in your mind, and you want to sincerely love someone and be with someone, that the universe will never send you anyone. I'm really not, I don't believe that. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong, but I don't believe it. I believe that it will eventually happen, but you have to have the patience and the faith and the trust to allow it to happen. So I am going to put myself on the chopping block and stay single until I find someone I do not feel like I have to settle for. Somebody who is what I actually want. And I don't really want a lot. I think some people have this belief that I want like, Princess Charming shooting rainbows and unicorns. But really that's not the case. My main criteria for a woman that I'm going to be with is that she is emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually healthy. Now that looks like a lot of different things. It can look like a lot of different things, but that is the foundation. And until I find that, I'm going to stay single. And I also would like to be with someone who I can build with, someone who has a certain amount of herself established so we can come together and build, and I'm not like dragging her, she's not dragging me. I want somebody who I can build with. So the combination of those two things, someone who's healthy and someone I can build with. I do like a couple other things. I like beautiful women. I love pretty faces. Everybody knows that I'm attracted to pretty faces, and I'm very attracted to women who are large women. So that is those the four things I generally look for seriously in a woman. And I'm going to stay single until I find all four of those things. And if I don't find all four of those things, I'm going to be okay just remaining single, maybe dating, having a good time, and not doing the temporary situationship anymore, because those situationships get so hairy and so messy, and we end up involved in a situation that may as well be a relationship, and it's like you just don't, this person isn't what you want, but you're with them for the time being because you don't want to not be with anybody. That's basically what it is. So Aquarius, I think that that's why we settle. And I think that we should all try this experiment and see what happens. I think we should all just stay single and casually date until we find someone that we don't feel like we had to settle for. Those of us who are single right now, you know, um, and then see what happens, just have the patience, and I think that's really what it is, because I know in myself, I've never had the patience. Now, that doesn't mean other Aquariuses have not, but I have not. And like I said before, I always know that I can flee. I always know that I can get away from this situation. I always know if need be, I can detach and move on. I always know that. And I bet you we all do. Because those of us who are the stereotypical Aquarius, who are very capable of detaching, have detached many, many times. Most of us detached from something major and early in our lives, a parent, a friendship, something like that. And then after that, it's never hard again to detach from anything or anyone, except for probably our children. That's one of the, our kids got us by the balls, man. So that's the one thing. But I think that because I've always known that in my heart that at any given time I can flee, I think that's what really keeps me from finding something to seriously commit to. So this time, at 41 years old, I've been making the same mistake repeatedly all my dating life. At 41 years old, I'm going to try something new, and that's what I'm going to try. And other Aquarius, if you want to do it too, let's see what happens. I mean, look, if we've been settling all this time and not really getting what we wanted, not really liking it, and leaving anyway, what do we have to lose? Let's casually date. Let's casually date until real love appears. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll keep you guys posted. Um, let's see what happens. All right, guys. That's this segment of Ask an Aquarius, and that's why we settle and why we shouldn't. Deuces.